For the past 40 years, Rolling Meadows High School has hosted a music festival called Jazz in the Meadows. High schools and middle schools from all over Illinois, and even some from other states, come to compete by performing their jazz pieces. The event is huge, with performances happening in the gym, field house, library, and many other rooms. The cafeteria is turned into a concession stand, merch is sold, and the whole building is alive with bands, judges, family members, and the hundreds of volunteers who make the whole event possible. Mustang Media worked to cover the many sides of the event, interviewing staff, students, and professional performers.
Showcasing your music in front of an audience that you might not be familiar with and getting feedback from industry professionals is just, it's priceless. You really have to, younger musicians often don't get a chance to work with like professional educators or performers on a regular basis, and events like this provide that opportunity.
The beautiful thing about jazz music is that it's an oral and an oral tradition. We have this thing called each one teach one. So when you have the opportunity to learn from someone, you also have the responsibility to pass that on. I don't know what comic it is, but with great power comes great responsibility. Is that Spider-Man? Oh, Spider-Man.
And I also like to think about it as a form of empowerment, empowering young people to embrace who they are, their own fingerprint, and then share it with others, and pass it on.
I think such an important part of students learning and improving is opportunities to hear other students play. And I think when you get to hear other students play at a high level, or you hear an individual piano player who's really, really good, it's inspiring. And I think opportunities like Jazz in the Meadows, where there's so many groups from so many different places, I think there's so much room for students to come here and perform and they get inspired just from their peers, which I think is such a magical thing. I think simply like the amount of schools that we have, like we have schools from Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Missouri, and just like those schools they come here because like they're some of the best. And I think to the point about opportunities, right? You want to when kids are around like other schools and groups that are really good, there's kind of a special sauce or something that like there's a little bit of like sitting a little bit taller, just like playing better, just because you're in an atmosphere that's so music centric. Yeah. Well, so we were forced to do music when we were in school. So I think there's something to be said about like your parents making you do things even though you don't necessarily want to. And it's one of those things you don't necessarily realize until you're like old. But there's like, hey, like if I wasn't forced to do those things, take piano lessons, like while doing sports, you did more sports than me, but like while doing that stuff, I wouldn't be here today doing music and teaching. So that's where it came from. I mean, but that's like, we've had incredible opportunities, I think, when both of us were in high school, to go around the world, to play, to be around kind of the same things that we're trying to inspire here. Yeah, I think that there is we all look back now at like our parents, and I think when people use the word like forced, I think now with kids, I think that gets like misinterpreted. And my parents were, I think their mentality was, you're going to try this for 1 year and you're going to do it to the best of your ability, and then we'll talk about it. And then after we did that, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I think the music love actually came from loving the community of people that I was with first, and all of the friends that I made. And then I was like, oh, it's cool to like try to do this and to get good at this. Okay. And do it with your friends. Yeah. Like, great. We're all just going to like work hard and do it together. Yeah. That was fun.
And then since you're both directors, do you guys ever like offer advice to each other, like share ideas? And also, is there any like competition between the two?
Yes. No. No, I think, we talk to each other all the time. So I think it's just like, we're obviously brothers, so we have like a unique connection more than maybe some other people. But I think we talk to each other about the music we're doing, our students, the troubles, the struggles, but also the successes and things that we're like inspired by, like, hey, you have to check this out, or like listen to these people. So I think it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's always funny when people talk about, like, they always ask if we're competing. Like, that's a very common question. I think you talk about it at the family table at Thanksgiving. Like, all those questions are always like, no. Like, we're each other's like biggest cheerleader. Like, hey, like we've talked about all the things that like you've struggled with or what's been really hard, and I want it to go well for you. You know, and like I think a lot of the times too, when we're not at work, I think we also try to make an active effort to just not talk about band, because we also get to go to meetings together. So we get to be together at work, and so like when we're not at work, it's also nice to just not talk about anything else.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for coming to the noon concert. My name is Mr. Elliott. I'm the band director here at Rolling Meadows High School. Thank you so much for coming to Jazz in the Meadows. There's so much great energy, so much great music, and just life about this festival, which makes it super special. So welcome to the noon concert. We're going to do something a little bit different this year than if you've been here in the past. So we're actually going to feature one of the groups who actually were the grand champion high school groups last year. This is the Hersey High School Band. They're going to play a full set. It's going to be incredible. You're going to hear some things about the student, like from the students about the tunes. You're going to learn a little bit about that. And then you're also going to hear Chris Madsen's Quartet, who's also one of our judges, which is just going to be absolutely a great show. So without further ado, please welcome the Hersey High School Jazz Band.
How's it going, Rolling Meadows High School? We are the John Hersey High School Jazz Band, and that was our first song, MacArthur Park, a classic by Maynard Ferguson. You heard some monster lead trumpet playing from Ethan Uman on the trumpet. And I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our whole trumpet section. Annabelle Finn, Ethan Uman, Nate Hutchinson, Francis Apau, and Colin O'Brien. Give it up for this awesome section. Our next song is a classic, written by Duke Ellington, arranged by Sammy Nestico. Don't get around much anymore. My buddies Ethan and Francis on the trumpet discovered this song at Birch Creek. Where's my Birch Creek family? I see you, Beloit High School. I know you guys are there. This is going to feature solos from Annabelle on trumpet, Linnea on trombone, Victor on piano, and a really cool saxophone solo from our saxophone section. I'm going to introduce them really quickly. Freddie Icorn, Ahir Naveen, Aben Matthew, Ben Hagan, and Caden Trikoshi. This is Don't Get Around Much Anymore. We hope you enjoy. Thank you, everybody. That was Union. That was Union by Mike Conrad. A really cool piece. You heard solos from Aaron on trombone, Kyle on bass, and some vocals from Ahir. Give it up for them. I'm going to introduce really quick our rhythm section and trombone section before we leave. Eddie Filipek on guitar, Gabby Venegas on vibes, Victor Pavlov on piano, Kyle Park on bass. And our trombone section, Vicky Karwowski on trombone, obviously. Linnea Olson, Olivia Choi, Aaron Jeske, and D-Rod, Danny Rodriguez on the bass trombone. Our next song is a Roy Hargrove classic, Miss Garvey, Miss Garvey. It's going to feature our duo and then trio in the front. And you're going to hear a ton of solos from a ton of people in the band. I think you already know them. I introduced them. Thank you guys so much for coming to this. This is a great opportunity to be able to play for you guys a full set. And hope you have a great rest of the festival, rest of the day. Good luck to everyone competing. Thank you again, everybody, for watching this performance. We are the John Hersey High School Jazz Band, and now please enjoy the Chris Madsen Quartet. Thank you.
So yeah, it's hard because I tell people I sort of have like a 3-part life. I have my college teaching, which is a full-time position, and then I perform, and then I also have a family, and so and I live really far away from Chicago. I live about an hour north, so it can be very challenging. But I wouldn't be in the music business if I wasn't able to perform regularly, because it's such. It just scratches that itch, that creative, itch that I think performers really have. And not only that, it informs, like performing informs my teaching and vice versa. Everything, performing, composing, and teaching, they're all sort of part of the same pie in a way, and they all sort of like inform each other. So I would definitely, I would be very, very miserable were I not to continue teaching, continue performing while I teach.
What is the impact you want to have on students when you perform?
Impact I want to have on students when I perform is I want students to be aware that it takes a lot of research and homework to really play jazz and do it in a viable way. It's not enough to just sort of be aware of the chords and the scales and being able to play your instrument well, but it's also the history of the music really plays a huge part in what I do, and I really like to investigate historical performers on my instrument and allow those to influence me as much. So I hope that comes across when I perform, that students are able to realize, oh, okay, so this person is playing jazz, but it's not just about the mechanics of it, it's about the history of it, it's about the study of the music and how it's like a lifelong kind of a pursuit. So I hope that comes across.
And then, why do you think Jazz in the Meadows and similar events are important to younger musicians?
It's very important for younger musicians to come to Jazz in the Meadows and other events, whether or not they're competitive or not, whether or not they're competing or in a non-competitive sense, because showcasing your music in front of an audience that you might not be familiar with and getting feedback from industry professionals is just, it's priceless. You really have to, younger musicians often don't get a chance to work with like professional educators or performers on a regular basis. And events like this provide that opportunity. And I think it's really, really important. Like, for example, right now I'm in the non-competitive room. I've been there all day, and we're not really ranking. It's not about, you get this number. It's more about the comments, and it's about the feedback, and that can really, because jazz it's competitive in a certain way, but it's really more about just the art form itself and learning how to be present and listen to others while you're performing, and exactly what separates jazz from classical music. If most of the students are in a classical ensemble too, and all of these are subjects that we touch on in our master classes and in our clinics with the bands as well.
And then finally, how did you get into music and eventually choose her to be your partner?
Yeah, how did I get into music? Well, I can just always remember being obsessed with music, being enamored with it. I mean, literally, my first memories are just listening to music in the car with my dad, driving around, and he loved the Beatles, and so he would show me the Beatles and sort of talk about this is why I like this song, and it sort of taught me to be analytical about music and not just let it wash over me, but actually think about it. And then it found me. I know it sounds kind of corny, but I didn't really choose it. It's sort of like I didn't have a choice in the matter, and then it just always made sense. Of course I want to go into music and perform because that's what I love to do most. The real turning point for me was when I went to the Birch Creek Summer Music Camp up in Door County, Wisconsin, the summer before my freshman year of high school, and being around other people my age who were really, really deep into the study of the music, it just lit a fire in my brain, and there was no going back after that, honestly. So I knew very young that I wanted to do it professionally.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sure, no problem.
Here they go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Please keep that round of applause going for Clark Summers on the bass. That's Clark. And back here on the drums, we have Dana Hall. Dana Hall on the drums. Special guest with the group today, we have Julius Tucker on the piano. That's Julius Tucker. My name is Chris Madsen, and we're the Chris Madsen Quartet. And thank you very much for being here for the lunchtime performance. I'm glad those of you that could make it are here. And this is a wonderful day of music making all around, so we're very proud to be a part of that. We are promoting a new album, which is going to be released a week from yesterday. So on March 6th, this album becomes available. And good news for all of you, those of you that still have CD players, we have CDs for sale. They are at the merch table, which is down sort of halfway down this brown hallway down there. So a measly $20, you know, what can you complain about, right? So if you're interested in taking the CD home with you, it is available ahead of schedule out there. So you can visit there and take us home with you. So that first song that we performed was original of mine called Dream Music. And this album is comprised of 8 songs, and 4 of the songs are mine, 4 of them are written by Clark Summers. We'd like to continue along with one of Clark's. This one is called Buyer's Remorse. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the album that is, all this music is drawn from is called Threefold, and that's because it's a tenor, bass, and drums trio. It's actually our second album in that exact instrumentation and that personnel. The first album we did, released a few years ago, was all covers, except for one song. I had one original on there. The difference between our first album and this one here that's coming out now is that all this music is original. It's all written by members of the group. And we tasked the amazing Julius Tucker to join us. How about a round of applause for Julius Tucker? I gave him the music, I gave him the sheet music, I gave him the album to listen to, and I just said, you know, do your thing, fit in where you can, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. And we're going to continue along with something, another composition. Oh, the one that we just performed was a composition by Clark that was called Mods, and very kind of a through-composed, almost kind of quasi-classical kind of a vibe to that one. We're going to continue along with another one written by Clark. This is called Hidden Message. it up for Dana Hall on the drums and cymbals. Clark Summers on the bass and compositions. And our special guest today, Julius Tucker on the piano. That's Julius Tucker. My name is Chris Madsen. We're the Chris Madsen Quartet. We have an album coming out very soon. You can buy them ahead of schedule out at the merch table for a measly $20. Right. We want to thank everyone for having us here today at the Rolling Meadows Festival. Good luck to all of you, and I hope you're having a wonderful day full of wonderful music making. Thanks everybody for listening.
All right, another big round of applause to Chris Madsen Quartet.
I think my opportunities where I started to really think that teaching was what I wanted to do specifically was when I had leadership opportunities as a student where I was mentoring younger students. But then I also got to spend time teaching lessons to students on instruments when I was a junior and a senior when they were freshmen to try to help them grow. And I was like, whoa, this is so fun. This is so cool to help you do this. I really like doing this. And that just all of a sudden wanting to be a lawyer and going to law school kind of just became less appealing. So I was like, oh, it's just really fun to work with somebody else and teach them something. I like that a lot. And I didn't think that I wanted to teach music at first either. I wanted to be an English teacher because I loved my English teacher and I thought she was amazing. And so I think that's kind of where it started, was for me with one-on-one opportunities. But we had so many amazing opportunities in band. We played with professional musicians, and I think those things just made it something that was real, not just a classic school.
I think I had similar teaching younger kids has I remember teaching elementary kids how to play the French horn and pick it up. It was whoa, this is, I feel like I have something to offer, right? That's kind of interesting. But I think the more that I thought about it and the more I saw this in different ways, music is a conduit to teach a whole lot of other things. So when you do music is a tremendously collaborative experience, right? It's like an idea of meritocracy. So if there's a really good musical idea that he has, let's go with that, and that best idea wins. And that's tremendously collaborative. And I think the more that I saw music is an opportunity to teach skills, to teach working together. Growing the leadership piece I think was extremely important, right? Knowing how much that meant to me. And but yeah, I think just music is an opportunity to teach all those other skills too is also really appealing. Yeah, for sure. But also echoing all the things he said, for sure. Swinging. Well, of course, our dad was our high school band director, so that's a very obvious one. Yeah, that's a very unique life experience for the two of us. And our mom was also a music teacher, so that, of course. I would probably say that my shout out would be to my private lesson teacher that I had in high school for 1 year. His name was Jared, and Jared fundamentally changed my life. He was the most fun, supportive, challenging teacher, and would always call me on it when I was skirting by or when I tried to have an excuse that definitely was not real. He'd be like, yo, stop. You didn't do the work, and that's fine. But everything was always so much fun, and he was so passionate about helping me grow. And that, I think about all the lessons that I had with him. Those changed me forever. Yeah, I think the people that really inspired me musically, obviously, our dad, I think is huge. I think when I was in college, my first year, I had a lot, I think kind of what Spence alluded to, there's I had different life paths I was considering. I was hey, I want to be go fly fighter planes or be an aerospace engineer. That was a very real thing that I was considering. And it didn't really crystallize for me until my freshman year with my horn teacher in college, when it was I think there were some kind of very real moments when it's just like, let's cut through kind of these things that you're saying, let's get at the root of it, and like, let's take kind of where you're at and let's build you from there and go from there. So I think just the very real aspect that I got from him and just how to approach life, but also like playing my instrument as a teacher, I think it really is like reflecting what I do now and how I approach things.
Okay, everybody, we're going to get started. So this is the grand finale concert. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Mr. Elliott Hile. I'm the band director here at Rolling Meadows High School. Today has been an awesome day of music, of just joy, of so many amazing performances. And this grand finale concert is meant to celebrate all of the students here, but also for you guys to hear an artist. Bryan Carter is just an amazing human. He's won Grammys, Tonys, and he's like just unbelievable and so authentic as a human. He's just so cool. And he's from Sycamore, Illinois, which is awesome. So a couple things. With this, the grand finale concert, we're going to feature some of our top performing groups. So they're going to play one selection for you. But I do want to make sure I acknowledge the judging panel who are here to make sure that they're ready to rumble with everything. So we're going to have Mr. Alex Beltran, Janelle Finn, and Neil Carson. Give it up for our grand finale judges who are there. Okay, so everybody, you're going to hear something really cool out of this first group. This is the first time we've ever done this before, so pretty special that this group of middle school kids in front of you gets to have this because it's so cool to play in front of this many humans. But this first band is from our top middle school room, which is the band room today. This is the Old Quarry Jazz Band and Frank Alonji. So yes, give it up for them. Their tune is going to be El Abrazo. It's an Alan Baylock tune. You're going to feature drummer, saxophone. It's beautiful. You might cry a little bit. Enjoy. Give it up one more time for Old Quarry.
Old Quarry Middle School Jazz Band, guys, give it up. Hey, and a real quick shout out to Kyle on bass. He's from Rolling Meadows. He filled in for our bass player today who couldn't be here. So give him a big round of applause. He sight read that tune.
Okay, here's our first high school band. That was incredible from Old Quarry, just absolutely amazing. This is our first high school band. This is from Class 4A. They were actually featured at the Illinois Music Education Conference earlier this year. They're an absolutely dynamite group with a dynamite director. This is the Warren Township High School Jazz Band under the director of Dave Tribal. Give it up for him, everybody. They're going to be playing a piece called Afterthought. You're going to hear a trombone solo and a Keelan soprano sax solo. Enjoy. All right, everybody, this is our next high school group. This band is competing from Class 1A. Everybody, please welcome the St. Charles West High School Jazz Band from St. Charles, Missouri, and Ben Meyer. Like Warren, you just heard, they were featured at their state convention just like a couple weeks ago. Absolutely incredible. They're going to play a really fun tune called Samba de los Gatos. It's going to feature Luca on trumpet, Harry on bone, and Cash on the keys over there. Give it up one more time for St. Charles West. Everybody, thank you so much for your patience. We're going to feature our next band, which is the 3A category. Please welcome to the stage the Beloit Memorial High School Jazz Orchestra from Beloit, Wisconsin, and their director, Chris Behrens. Give it up for him. So it's been super cool so far. So like the last couple of groups have been featured at like different state conventions. These guys, they were actually accepted to the Essentially Ellington contest. So this year, so they're essentially one of the top 20 bands in the world to go to this festival. So you're going to hear some incredible music. They're going to play, I think, May 1st or May 2nd. It's going to be live streamed. See you there. But they're going to play a Duke Ellington tune for y'all. It is Diminuendo and Crescendo in blue. You're going to hear from Sam on keys over there, Alfredo on tenor, and Braden on trumpet. Give it up for Beloit, everybody.
Oh, I'm Claire. I'm a senior. I've attended, this is my fourth one, and it hasn't been that different other than Mr. Booty was running it my freshman year. And so I guess our sophomore year, it was a little bit crazy because Mr. Hile was learning it all, but it was still just as good. The workshops are unique because it kind of caters to every section. And so I went to a rhythm section workshop, and then last year there's also a singer. So I kind of got an inside look at what it was like to be a jazz vocalist too. It helps me see a future as somebody that wants to go into music, and so it makes me confident in my career choice. I actually just connected with the band from St. Patrick's Shamrock. I learned that they really like electric guitars, and it's interesting to see how an all-boys school band program is versus a public multi-gendered one.
Hi, my name is David, and I'm from Rolling Meadows.
I'm Max. I'm from Rolling Meadows. I'm a junior.
And I'm a senior. I've attended JIDM for over 4 years now, and each year is different because we have different guest artists, and usually I play different jobs to it as well.
I've attended JIDM as a student at Rolling Meadows for 3 years, and I came here in 8th grade. So from being in 8th grade, performing in middle school, to just volunteering, and then this year is my first year in jazz. So I'll be performing this year.
Today, I'm a band guy for 4 different high schools.
Today I'm a performance room runner. I go to and from the performance rooms and collect score sheets.
I've talked to many bands and a lot of them are really nice. They're basically like us. And what I've learned is that a lot of schools can have different variety, whether it comes to like performance skill or different styles of varieties, such as that.
I haven't really gotten to talk to many other students, but from what I've seen, all the schools are unique but also similar to us. Today I'm volunteering for 5 hours from 10 to 3. So when I clock out, I just have to get ready pretty quickly, warm up, and then start performing.
All right, Max.
This is the Rolling Meadow Jazz Band. We're going to play a tune for you by the composer Gordon Goodwin, who just passed away. So this tune is, I don't want to say Looney Tunes, but it's Looney Tunes meets jazz. So it's called Hunting Wabbits. So it's got a bunch of like almost classical playing in it, but you're gonna hear some fun playing from our saxophone section. I call it the Berry Party. We're gonna have the Berry Boys come up and have a little party. We're gonna hear from our amazing vocalist Alexia on this when we get to the swing section. Yeah. So everybody, this is Rolling Meadows, and this is Hunting Wabbits. you so much. Give us just about 2 minutes, maybe about 10. We're going to have NIU and Bryan Carter out. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
For me, it's I was once told that it's important to go get great and bring it back. I'm an alum of NIU, class of 2001, go Huskies, and so I spent a lot of my career in the community working with younger students, and I would like to also come back, or I've come back to NIU to share with my students, and this just happens to be through jazz in which we can impact the world and share our fingerprint with the world.
The beautiful thing about jazz music is that it's an oral and an oral tradition. We have this thing called each one teach one. So when you have the opportunity to learn from someone, you also have the responsibility to pass that on. I don't know what comic it is, but with great power comes great responsibility. Is that Spider-Man? Oh, Spider-Man. You know, there's a lot of wisdom there. So that's what we love to do. We love to meet young people. We love to share this music, and we also love to commune with one another.
Yeah, and I also like to think about it as a form of empowerment, empowering young people to embrace who they are, their own fingerprint, and then share it with others and pass it on.
Okay. And then, how do you guys prepare to perform? Like how do you get ready to go?
How do we get ready to perform? You know, performance always starts. The preparation always starts in the practice room. We spent many years locked in a practice room working and honing our craft. So that's kind of step one. But when we walk on stage, that's the time to have fun.
And as you said, going through the process, I often talk about embracing the process in the practice room, in rehearsal room, and not just preparing musically, but also preparing mentally.
That's right.
Preparing mentally and understanding that when we do perform, we're not just performing for ourselves, but we're performing for those in front of us.
Okay, and then how did you get into music and decide to make it your career?
Yeah, my dad was a musician. My dad actually ran the jazz program at Northern Illinois University, and that's where I met Dr. Griffin. I was 5 years old. Dr. Griffin was probably a freshman or sophomore.
18 or 19 years old.
That was maybe 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
I met Bryan.
And that was my entrance into music. We had all these guest artists who came in, and they inspired me, and they wanted me to be a professional musician because I saw how much fun they had. To me, that was the best job ever. So it's really humbling to be in that position now, to be the guest artist who comes in and works with students. And I hope that I'm a fraction as encouraging as those guest artists were to me.
And then, why do you think Jazz in the Meadows and other similar events are important to students?
I think it's important for us because it allows students to share what they've been working on, what they've been practicing, what they've been embracing for the past few months. I mean, it's a goal, but for me, it's nice to see students among other students. I love the opportunity for them to fellowship with one another, and I think that's the highlight for me. In addition to working with some of the best in the business, with the adjudicators, the clinicians, those who are giving the master classes, and then have an opportunity to see, music performed at a very high level.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, under the direction of Mr. Roosevelt Griffin, the NIU Jazz Orchestra and two-time Grammy Award and Tony Award winning drummer, Mr. Bryan Carter.
Nate Ray, alto saxophone. Give it up one more time. Carlos Sims, trumpet. Isaiah Jones Jr., piano. And the one, the only, Mr. Bryan Carter on drums. We are so honored and happy to be here. I've had a chance to drop in some of the rooms. I want to say congratulations to all of the students who performed today. You all are doing some amazing work. Congratulations to you, your directors, your parents, and also Rolling Meadows for hosting this wonderful event. I remember coming to this event for the first time in 1993. I was in high school, so yeah, I know.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, real long. Yeah, 1993, and I remember Ron Carter bringing East St. Louis to this festival, and I remember being in high school. Anybody went to school in the 90s and heard the East St. Louis band? Nobody? Yes, I'm telling you, it was something very special. So to be here with NIU, obviously, Ron Carter was the director of jazz studies at NIU, my mentor, and we're, I think Bryan knows him closer than all of us. But in fact, can you tell us about that first tune that we just played?
Absolutely. So that very first song we played was a song called Neighbor from Naylor, and it was a commission by the Illinois All-States. So some of you may have played that before. I'm sure you had to play it a lot for auditions, and I'm so sorry that you had to play it so many times. It's not my fault, though. No, and I said that I would write it if I got to dedicate it to my dad. My dad's from Naylor, Georgia, so that's why it's the Neighbor from Naylor.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I hope you all enjoyed the Neighbor from Naylor. And we understand that you all have been here all day, and we want to get moving to the music, so we won't do much talking. But we'll play, the next selection will be a tune out of the Count Basie songbook and entitled Shiny Stockings, followed by a Stevie Wonder tune that Bryan arranged entitled Summer Soft. All right, enjoy.
Carlos Sims, trumpet. Yeah, man. Brian Carter, drums. or Die. Kimiyuchi, alto saxophone. And all the way from Greece, Yorgos Moustakis on guitar. We have a special treat for you. We have at the Northern Illinois University, we have our award-winning NIU Jazz Tet. It's made up by members of this ensemble. So we're gonna have a few others join Daisuke and Daisuke and Yorgos. Give it up for Spencer Mackey on trombone, Isaiah Jones Jr. piano, Jack Sundstrom bass, and our very special guest, Bryan Carter on drums. You all enjoy.
NIU Jazz Tech featuring Bryan Carter on drum. All right, you all, we have one final tune for you. Very special tune. And as you prepare to leave, if you want to, we should call it cutting the rug. It's something that's going to make you want to move. It's special to me. When I was a student in the band, this was Bryan Carter's closer. And so this is the first time I performed it since being a student in the band. And I'm fortunate and honored to close this tune with the great Bryan Carter playing drums and singing.
All right. I need everybody to stand up for me. Everybody stand up. We're getting ready to dance. But before we do, how about a big round of applause for all these wonderful students at NIU and Dr. Roosevelt Griffin. They're doing such a great job. I'm having a much better time here than I was at the Grammys, I'll tell you that much. Let's do it. So let the good times roll. Everybody let the good times roll. I can't be young or old. Let's get together, let the good times roll. Walked in one morning, talking trash. If you wanna have a ball, you better go out and spend some cash. Everybody let the good times roll. Rolling Meadows, let the good times roll. I can't be young or old. Let's get together and let the good times roll. Come on, help me out, band. Together, we better stick together. NIU Jazz Orchestra, everybody.
Thank you all. Good night.
That was so fun.